Hello, SWTOR. Welcome back to another Deconstruction Gaming live stream. We are going to try a challenge today, and that is to see how long it takes us to hug 300 Wookiees. There is an achievement called Hugs for All that is to hug 1,500 Wookiees, and so I thought we'd get a baseline here of how long it takes to do 300, and then you'd have to do that 5 times, obviously, to get the full achievement, but that is our challenge. I'm sitting here on the login screen, so I've set up a few things on the challenge. The first thing is I've pre-positioned all my characters to be as efficient as possible in pulling this off. So we are going for speed. So obviously if you are changing planets, logging on, doing other things, quick traveling, that'll add to it. We did this on our charity stream, and I think it took us 2 hours to get 288. So we're going to try to lower that down. If there is a challenge, in-game challenge that you want me to try, especially if it is a single-player challenge, because that's really what I have access to myself, feel free to throw a comment down below. I can try to get some of those done. I'm happy to try different things out. We've done some leveling challenges in the past to see how long it takes us to go from level 1 to max level, and different things like that. So, hey, Geeky. I'll always appreciate the support. Have a good Merry Christmas yourself, and have fun at your sister's. Sounds like a good time. So, okay, so we have a timer that we're going to kick off, and then I'm going to load the first character. We're going to go from character to character because we're going to do this on Mech Shaw because there are 12 Wookiees that are relatively close together. I have found I thought, anyway, in past versions, that you could only hug a Wookiee a day, at least on Mech Shaw. Now, I seem to remember we tested this on Nar Shaddaa, but on Mech Shaw, you can use your same character to hug the same Wookiees on the same day, as long as you wait, it looks like an hour. So I'm going to cycle through characters because I'm not going to wait an hour between hugs, but theoretically, when we hit the hour mark, we'll see how many characters we've gone through. We could then restart and use our characters again. I have 24 characters queued up and ready to go for this, which will be more than enough to get us through that hour. And that should also get us exactly to the 300 mark, as long as we don't miss a Wookiee. Okay, those are the parameters. Again, if there is some in-game single-player challenge you would like to see me try to tackle, go ahead and hit me up on socials, throw it in the comments down below. I'm happy to try stuff out or set up the parameters to see. Don't have to be time challenges, just kind of anything. Okay, let me find the timer. And here we go. I'll do my best to answer questions if any pop up in chat, but obviously we're going for speed, so I'm probably going to concentrate a bit on the challenge at hand. So what are things that are going to slow us down? Obviously loading, just loading the planet, but we're not going to unload the planet. We're just going to log off each time. There is a challenge of finding that little sweet spot, so it might take us a little bit to get into a groove. There we had it. Did it give us credit for it? Did not. There it is. Other players hugging Wookiees can sometimes make it difficult. And that's about it, outside of crashes or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to start looking for ways to speed up. I'm thinking a speeder in that first little section might not be a bad idea. A speeder to here probably wouldn't gain us a whole lot. This one I think is right here-ish. All right, we are off and running. We're a minute in. I'm hoping to get it down to 3 to 3.5 minutes per character. We were at, I think, right at 4 in our previous attempt. But again, we were quick traveling. We were logging into multiple planets. We might be able to get that down. Alright, we're up to 8. Okay, so as long as we hit 10 Wookiees at this Wookiee, we know we haven't missed any. Because there are 2 left. Alright, they're all close enough. I'm thinking just between that first set of 2 and that third Wookiee might be really the only time we're going to gain a lot with a speeder. Okay, there's 11. And give me 12. Alright, so you're also going to notice down here, I started at 700 Wookiees, so we're going to 1,000. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're just going to log out. I'm not even going to bother to remove this character. Now, if I did this again, I could go the other direction in an hour, right? So you could just ping-pong these guys back and forth. Alright, so these are the only 2 characters I've logged in so far today. This character I logged in because I had to clear his missions, because I'm using the companion missions to make conquest on this character. And then we started with Sax because I'm gonna have to run one character twice to get the full number, and so I think we'll start and end with Sax as generally my main. Alright, so I think speedering right there might be a good idea. Alright, this one we've got to get a good spot. Okay, so we're going to say right at the end of that little section right there. Okay, where are we at? We're at 350. I didn't look where we ended on Zax. So why are we doing 300? That seems excessive. A couple of reasons. I'm doing a lot because it'll give us a good average. We'll have enough data points to at least get a feel for how long it takes per Wookiee. It divides evenly into 1,500, so that's kind of a nice thing as well, because you can just multiply that times 5. And then, like I said, it gets me to an even 1,000, which all of a sudden now makes this achievement feel at least somewhat achievable. I think in the last stream I was even talking about, like, when we were doing Life Day on Nar Shaddaa, just throwing some snowballs, that I probably wasn't going to bother even trying for this. Then we discovered these Wookiees on Meksha that are all nice and close together. Oh, we made conquest. Awesome. And then, so we went ahead and ended up doing 288, and it seemed reasonable. It was like 2 hours. And then I went ahead and did another run later that day because I wanted to test to see, like, I can't remember. I logged a character in for some reason, and I noticed I could hug the Wookiee again. So I ran through all the characters again to see if that was a fluke or, you know, like, was it a bug on one character, but they all worked. So it's like, okay, now all of a sudden this becomes, like, I could literally do this the rest of the day and hit the 1,500 if I wanted to. All right, what are we at? 533. So 530, 2.5. Yeah, we're under 3 minutes a run so far. We'll see if that holds. It is pretty quiet up here today, though. I show 2 players on Mixshaw right now. Oh, we had it there. There we go. So let's talk. What kind of challenge? Oops, there we go. So little mistakes like that, right? I gotta try to eliminate for speed. But there's another hugger, but we did not bother each other, so that's good. Right at the end of that, right there. There we go. So what kind of challenges should we attempt? Well, like I said, I've done the leveling challenges before. There's 2 ways to go after a leveling challenge. One is just to do it under normal circumstances, right? Nothing special going on. Now, I believe we just got a double experience event going on right now. Which means if you're wanting to level characters, double XP makes a huge difference. Well worth looking into if you just want to get some leveling done. I've done this before, 2 or 3 times, I think, where I've stacked every XP boost I think available. So that includes, you know, the double XP event, includes being in a guild where you get 15% XP boost. I have XP armor, which understandably not everybody has access to. You've got the perks that you can buy inside of your legacy. You've got XP items that you can click on. There is a secondary guild boost that you can do if you turn it on. Stacked all that up, it ends up being 327% XP boost. And so I've done those on leveling challenges as well. I think we got, we're like 7.5, 8 hours to go to max level. And I think that's back when max level was 70 or 75 the last time we did it. So we've done those challenges before. They can be interesting, although it's a lot of skipping conversations and just plowing through the content. I think we maxed leveled by the time we got halfway through Nar Shaddaa or something like that. I mean, it was ridiculous how fast we were actually leveling. I'm looking for almost silly things, right? Like, I've wanted to do things like potentially see how long or how many steps it takes to walk across the Dune Sea or from point to point on a planet. See, that could be a little, like I said, we might run into situations where there's other people doing this. Come on, where is it at? Had it there. We can always do gameplay challenges, like try to solo something or, you know, things along those lines. But anything else? Weird, wonderful, goofy. Hugging Wookies thing's goofy enough. Alright, we're getting a little better at finding that spot. I sometimes struggle with finding just the right spot to stand in, but it can be a little finicky sometimes. Alright, what are we, 4 in here? 4 in at 11 minutes. On to the next. Now I am moving my guy away from the Wookiee so I don't log in right in front of it and mess somebody else up if they're trying to hug a Wookiee. Not that that would make a huge difference, but... Alright, well, as of the date of this stream, it is December 23rd. So we're only a couple of days from Christmas. So what are you guys hoping that Santa brings you? And or, if you're watching this afterwards, what did you get for Christmas? And was it Star Warsy? Okay, I'm thinking right in front of the arrow seems to be a sweet spot. Instead of looking at the actual geometry, we'll shoot for that spot right there. Like right in front of the directional arrow. Seems to be a good location and distance. That time we're standing on it a little bit, so that's what we're going to shoot for. Learning stuff to make ourselves more efficient. So you notice they don't stand exactly straight, right? Like it's not aligned with the geometry. Don't know if I can set a hotkey to that either. That would help a little bit, but... Oh, almost missed that one. Because my temporary bar should have that as a hotkey. At this point, I'm not going to spend the time to change my hotkeys around, though, because that'll... Not that big of a deal to click on it. Probably save a second to run, something like that. So call it 30 seconds. Could shave a half minute off the total time. Not 30 seconds a character, but all right. That's 5. This will put us 25% done when we get done with this character. This will be number 6. Be under 20 minutes. That's 80 minutes. So I think we can get this done in less than an hour and a half. At least at the rate we're going. Alright, so this person just happens to be right where we need to be. So hopefully they can hug quickly and stay ahead of us. Or did we pass them? Or did they give up? Nope, they're there. Notice I did put my companions away so they don't block anybody else. Or myself. Just makes our life a little easier. Alright, they've hugged some Wookiees, it looks like, because they are... I think we're being relatively efficient in our speed. And they are staying just ahead of us. So, maybe even gaining on us. They're a better Wookiee hugger than we. We'll give them props for their Wookiee hugging abilities. All right. 1533. Oh, we missed one. We did miss one. So we are going to go back because that'll be part of the challenge. To hit 300, we have to get them all. So that was 11. Which one did we miss? I often miss this one. Sometimes it can be just that we left early. Nope, it's this one. Alright, that hurt us a little bit. Alright, well, we're just going to log there. Alright, it took us up to 16. So it added a minute to that one. So, again, that's where part of the challenge is going to be. Is the averaging them together. Because, again, that way if you do mess anything up, it'll go into the average as opposed to, you know, the difference between 5.5 and 4.5 minutes per run, let's say. If you just did one, you know, you're not going to get the most accurate estimates. So it'll average out. Here we go again. So obviously, this gives us very Groundhog's Day vibes. It's like, didn't I just do this? Wow, that was all over the place in my driving ability. This character's been into the nog. Alright, when I went to click the button, I clicked on him, which means he wasn't selected anymore, which means I couldn't hug him. Okay, this smaller character model seems a little more finicky. Yeah, a little bit offset. So maybe just to the right. We'll see if that makes a difference. Yeah, I think on this body type, this is body type 2, it feels like center doesn't work as well. Okay, well that one looks good. It was feeling like just to the left, or just to the right, was working better. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just weird on that one. Cheer delivery expert. That's got to be a Life Day title. I don't remember what that where you get it. All right. On to the next. So what other challenges could we do? And we could always do the going solo a particular boss and stuff like that. At least the ones that are soloable. But we've done a lot of that kind of stuff on stream before. Not necessarily as a challenge, just as part of our normal gameplay. Trying to come up with weird and wacky things to do. Things you wouldn't think of. Alright, you've been standing there and not moving, so I'm not going to wait. Like, I'll wait for somebody if they're wiggling around like I am, trying to find that spot, because it can sometimes be a pain. But if they're just standing there, I don't know what they're doing. We're gonna hug and move on. I'm sure not everybody feels the way I do, but in general, I think the player base of an MMO, you have to remember this is a multiplayer game, right? So I do what I can to not disrupt and or do anything that, like ninja looting or stealing things from, you know, people. Even if it's just a clickable, respawn clickable, try to be at least courteous, and if somebody's there before me, let them have the spot before I get. So same on Wookiees here. Like if I see somebody trying to hug a Wookiee, you can only hug a Wookiee while someone else isn't hugging the Wookiee. So like right now, if somebody's trying to do this at the same time as me, they have to wait for my hug to take place. So again, I will wait until they're done with the Wookiee before we slip in and try to do it ourselves. I think it's easy to forget about that, though. This game is very play it as a single player game friendly, and it's easy to forget that it is still a multiplayer game, and what you do impacts other players. Alright, another one down. I should have probably cleaned out my achievement tracker just to make it easier to see our Wookiee hugging stuff, but we're not going to do it now. It'll slow us down. Let's see. Let's start thinking about other challenges. And again, the weirder and goofier, the better, right? Like, I don't know how exciting it would be to watch, but I'd even be willing to do things like jump up and down 100 times or 1,000 times or something like that. See, so there we go. This person hasn't moved. Now, there are a couple of things could have happened. They might have disconnected, and so they're not actually there. You know, they might have had a crash. There's lots of things that can happen. So, not judging somebody, but just as a general courtesy, like you said, like I'm doing. When I get to that last Wookiee, I'm moving my character away from it so that when I log in next, you know, your character shows up in the world before you can see that you're in the world. So to outside appearances, it's going to look like my character's just standing there in front of the Wookiee not doing anything. So that's why we are sliding our characters away from the last Wookiee, so as not to disrupt another player's play. But that's just my personal thoughts and philosophies. Trying to think of other challenges that aren't just do a thing a bunch of times, because obviously those can get a little boring after a while. Although counting steps to walk across the Dune Sea is still, it's one I've wanted to do for a long time. Alright, we're at 800. $807. Next. We're not even at the half-hour mark yet. The other big, crazy, long achievement that may be hidden, I can't remember if it's even visible, is to infect people during Rat Ghoul. That one's tougher. You have to go get infected yourself, and then you have to essentially die. And when you die, you explode. And when you explode, you pass the Rat Ghoul virus on to other people. And each of those takes like 10 minutes, I think. Like there's a stage 1 and stage 2. Now the secret to speeding it up a little bit there we go, is to if you die during stage 2, then you'll explode. So don't wait for stage 2 to kill you. So that is a way to get through that a little quicker. But I have no idea how far I am. We'll check at the end of this stream to see if there is a trackable thing, but I think it's a hidden achievement. Yeah, this smaller body type, I think the alignment is a little different than the other one. Also, I suppose if you wanted to really... I don't know if this Hug a Wookiee is affected by alacrity. If it would be, you could actually stack a bunch of alacrity onto your character and maybe lower the amount of time it takes per hug. Doesn't look like it though, because it's given us an even 4 seconds per hug. And if some of my characters do have a lot of alacrity, so I would guess some of them would be like 3.9 or 3.8. So I'm going to hypothesize that it is not covered by alacrity. Otherwise, I think we'd see some variance. All right, another one down. Now, obviously, if you're not doing these all at the same time, you can take the amount of time it takes to do, let's say, 12, which, again, is probably, what are we looking at, 3.5 minutes, maybe 4. And then if every time you went to Mekshah, you hugged Wookiees over days, you could just say, you know what, I'm just going to add 5 minutes. Let's go to the big side. 5 minutes to my time there and just knock this out as just part of my normal gameplay. Not power hug. Alright, so now I'm going to speculate that Kojak is not crashed, because if he's crashed and can't get back in, his character would have gone away a long time ago. Wouldn't still be standing there. It's easy to forget, though. Like, I'll admit, like, let's say I was right here, getting ready to hug this Wookiee, and something happened with my family or something like that, and I got called away, especially like in a pseudo emergency. I would probably just leave my character and go take care of it, right? There are priorities for sure that are going to trump in-game activities. So no judgment. A little bit of judgment. Light judgment. Where are we at? 8:27. We're almost halfway through. Yeah, that one is easy to run by. I've done that before. So yeah, 8:50. We'll be halfway through. Which I guess would probably have given us enough data, but hugging 150 Wookiees versus hugging 300 didn't sound as cool to me. I don't know why. I like the numbers all end in zeros. Looks more epic. Also, again, it gets us to that. I've hit it twice and didn't get the hug in. There we go. Gets us to that even 1,000. So only having 500 left to do feels more doable than, you know, we have 1,000 left to do or whatever it is. We're going to hug Wookiees. Then I'm going to go get some work done today. And then we're still going to stream Stardew this afternoon. So if you are joining us for our Stardew Valley streams, we're going to be in week 2 of spring of year 3. Year 3, week 2, spring. Not 100% sure what we're going to do today. We got crop stuff to do. I think there's an event during week 2. So we'll participate in that. We are going to have to work on some skill stuff. Because before summer... Oh, Kojak has moved. He's in a different spot now. Also has brought out all of his different pets and companions. I don't remember them being there before. Oh man, we were right in the right spot. We'll take that. Because in the summer, we're going to have to go after the pufferfish. And I would like to level up my mastery in fishing before we do that. Because I think we'll get a better rod. We can put multiple baits in it. Lots of stuff. Yeah, I think maybe it's the... So let's speculate here a little bit. There is a... Look how much off I'm on this character model type, right? I do know that at least in the original game, the hitboxes for the different character types are different sizes. There was a spot on Alderaan where you had to slip through this little broken door section to get to a Datacron spot. And the human or the male 3 body type couldn't fit through that slot. I think it was the only one. I can't remember if 4 was also affected, but 3 definitely couldn't fit through. And so the hitboxes are different sizes. So how is this built? There's a trigger to make this available, which means there's going to be an invisible, probably a box out here in front of each Wookiee. And our hitbox is going to have to cover that hitbox in some way. Now, is it just an overlap? Is it something different? Don't know. But if the hitbox for the different character types are different sizes, that alignment's going to be different. That's what it feels like. All right, we're almost through our Republic tunes. Before we start doing Imperial ones. Oh, Kojak's moved again. I think he's deeper in there. I think this is the only female tune we're going to use. Most of my characters are male. Not all. I've got a few. That is something personally, and I don't know if I would ever do this on stream, that I've wanted to do, is I have wanted to play back through all the original stories on a female character. For a couple of reasons, just to see the differences. There are some, depending on the story, there are some slight differences in dialogue options and things like that. But mostly just because I want to hear all the voice acting. You know, it's a completely different set of voice acting, even if a lot of the lines are the same. But that's some time. It takes some time to play through all the original stories again. I'd play through each one at least twice. Probably more, though. Okay, we passed 8:50, so we're at 8:54. 33 minutes in. It's going to be over an hour, but probably not by much. It's going to be pretty close. So let's just use an hour as our estimate. 5 hours? Actually is not that bad for a grindy achievement. I've done worse. I have done things that took much, much longer than 5 hours. Just chasing achievements. Don't know that Kojak has moved since our last time we've seen him. Looks about to be in the same spot. Okay, so this character does have a hotkey set to that. So I've set it at some point. I just haven't reloaded hotkeys on some of my characters. Shift Control 1, not the easiest to get to. So I'm not sure if I probably put that on my mouse for some event so I could just keep hitting the button. Would be my guess. Right now my mouse is set to these 12 over here. Those are all on my mouse. So I probably have an alternate mapping setup, I would guess, that made me so I can just hit a button to hit that. Oh, we had it. There we go. $868. Are you an achievement gamer? Let me know in the comments if you are, and what's the craziest achievement you've ever tried to get. I think in the last stream I told my story about the chicken quest in Lord of the Rings. That might be one of the hardest ones that I know of, outside of just like a nightmare mode version of a rare drop or something like that. But something that was pseudo-made to be soloed. You theoretically could do it solo. Alright, so now we get into suspension of disbelief mode, in that my dark side Sith practitioners here are taking time out of their busy Sithy days to hug Wookiees. Even goes up on his tiptoes to hug the Wookiee. Alright, is that animation the same every time? Because I'm definitely shorter than that Wookiee. So I'd have to get up on my tiptoes to hug that Wookiee. But I'm taller than some of the small Wookiees. See, tiptoes right there. Or tippy toes? How do you say it? But this Wookiee I'm definitely taller than. Yep, same animation. I was about to say, I'm getting my character laugh sound trigger a lot this time, it feels like, but then it didn't work on that one. There, I got it on that one. That way I hugged above his head. Again, that's just because this character model is taller than that particular Wookiee. Alright, we're going to be at 880. 120 left to go. Oop. We had it. Not in the spot I would have expected it, but we had it. Into our Sith we go, and then I think agents, and then bounty hunters. None of which you would think would be into hugging Wookiees. I mean, this guy's armor, that doesn't even look like a comfortable hug. I feel for the Wookiee, honestly. Hey, Kojak is alive! He moved. Is he actually hugging Wookiees now? Yeah. So, again, I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. It's probably just had something in real life that impacted his play experience, and now he's back in doing Wookiee hugging. If you're looking at the thumbnail, these are the two Wookiees I use for the thumbnail. This one doesn't look impressed at all. He always crosses his arms between hugs. Doesn't look like he wants to hug hardly anything. Now, if you are doing this, and you are going to do multiple rounds of hugging, let's say between, like I said, I think, at least here on Mech Shaw, it looked to be about right in an hour. I actually left a character logged in and just waited for it to be huggable again, and I don't have an exact time, but the timer I had running hit an hour and 1 minute, so I think it's right around an hour. But if you do a second round of hugging, you're not going to get that quest, you know, for the 2 parcels. That's a once per day type of thing. So if you want to spread your hugging adventures out to multiple days, you could get more parcels. It's only 2. You can get a lot more of those doing the snowball thing. If you're trying to grind parcels, Wookiee hugging is not the way to do it. You want to do that with snowballs. But if you're just wanting to get some, and you want to completely maximize, 1 character per day will get you the quest. Mission in the Old Republic. I don't think they call them quests, but... Alright, they should be right ahead of us. Like they're 2 ahead of us in the hugging line. This is one of my favorite names that I do have. There was just a name purge, so there might be some names available if there's a name you've been trying to get for a while. You can't have this one, but yeah, Gigawatt, my lightning sork. One of my favorite names that I have. Got lucky. It was actually... I've had Gigawatt as a character name on multiple games. My most famous Gigawatt probably Star Wars Galaxies. I had a Wookiee named Gigawatt who ran my Gigawatt power company. And I sold radioactive power to crafters so they could build their stuff. That character made me lots of money. Can't be a Wookiee in this game, so could not carry on that tradition, but... So anyway, when I tried to get Gigawatt, it was already taken. So... Then one day I just tried it. I don't know why. I might have been trying a bunch of different names just to see if I could get some stuff. And all of a sudden it was available, so... I don't even think it was during a name purge, although it might have happened at a name purge. And then just nobody had claimed it yet. So yeah, that's Gigawatt, my lightning sork. I think I've only ever lost 1 or 2 names in the different server combinations, you know, when they would combine a couple of servers and consolidate things. I've been pretty lucky. Actually, Mantadea was born out of a name change. That's not his original name. That's his second name. Or was it Manto? Manto. Mantodea was born out of a name change. Mantadea was born because I already had a Mantodea. And Mantodea is a take off of... I think somewhere in the sciencey bits of whatever it's called, is it genus, species? Somewhere in those rankings, the praying mantis has a scientific name called Manta. I think it's Mantodea, something like that. That's where the name comes from. Praying mantis seemed like a appropriate name for a bounty hunter, or something linked to the praying mantis. This guy also not looking like a guy you'd want to get hugs from. Not just because he's mean looking, but just because of the armor he's wearing. And look at all that stuff. You could hurt somebody giving a hug. It's like having a healing device. It's like the punching or the boxing glove of healing. And the only way you can heal somebody is to punch him in the face with the glove. But it heals them. Counterintuitive as an object. This guy gives counterintuitive hugs. Wow, that one's way off. Well, I'm actually pretty happy. We've had some struggles on individual Wookiees, like this one, evidently. But we've only missed one so far out of all of our runs. We missed that one Wookiee. I think on Palan. Other than that, we're doing pretty good. Alright, our last Sith, I think. Quackness. I don't remember where his name came from. I think I was doing letter shifting things. So another way I'll sometimes name a character is I'll take words that are linked to them. You know, so like, let's say you're doing a bounty hunter. You just take the word hunter. And then you start almost like a cipher. You just start shifting the letters. Like up, down. Like each consonant you shift down 2 consonants, right? So if you have the letter B, you would move it to not C but D. And then just shift the entire name. And I usually do vowel for vowel, consonant to consonant, because otherwise you get some really weird stuff. You can just do them. You could just do like A, you could shift to B or C. But you could also shift A to E to I. And just see what you come up with. You'll be surprised. You'll get some interesting names. I think I was doing something like that with him. Then the other thing I'll do is like, okay, after I do the shift, I don't have a name I like, but I have maybe a section of a name that I like. And then I'll start playing around with that section and adding stuff to it or taking stuff away from it. Another place I go to name characters is just dictionaries of different languages and start doing translations on, you know, again, words that you would link to your character. And you'd be surprised. You can find some pretty good names that way. Random is also a possibility. Just hit the random button. I've done that in Old Republic where I'll just hit the random button. And again, maybe not directly use the names that come up, but see a name and be like, ooh, if I changed the letter or this letter or these 3 letters on this name, it gets me to a name that I kind of like. So I've done that before as well. I can spend as much time trying to come up with the name as I do actually doing the character customization. It takes me forever to name characters. Alright, 48 minutes. We are at 9:28. So we need 72 more hugs. 72 in 12 minutes. 48. That's 6 more characters. That's probably 18 to 24 minutes. So we're not going to be under an hour, but we're going to be under an hour and a half. Which, again, we did this before. It took us 2 hours. If we can cut a half an hour off of this, I will get this achievement this year. Probably not on stream. I don't think I'll do this again. Unless you really want to see me hug 500 more Wookiees. I mean, if that's your thing, let me know. Leave it in a comment down below. I'll consider it. I have a feeling this stream is probably not going to get the most views. But that's okay. Streaming, much like MMO gaming content, different people like different things. And if this isn't your thing, I completely understand that. If you're here for engaging SWTOR content and you're like, he's done nothing but hug Wookiees for the last hour, I can see that not being something you'd want to watch. Or maybe it is. Maybe you're just like, I just like seeing Wookiees give hugs. And it is calming and peaceful. Kind of like a Bob Ross painting. Champion of the Great Hunt giving hugs. Got that one, didn't we? 7, 8, 9. Oh, yep, 10. Okay. I actually do feel for these Wookiees. I wonder if they track on the back end data how many hugs were given. Like, this is just a skill, so they can track how many times that thing's been clicked on. That's the thing I actually do wish they would release more info on. Like, how many of a thing that happens. Now, you want to be careful with that. Like, I don't think you should release, like, how many credits were made or things like that. That can get a little weird. But how many Wookiees were hugged? Even if you did it, like, on a per day basis. Like, over the entire life day. How many on average Wookiees were hugged each day? The numbers would probably scare you. Alright, our second agent is going to hug Wookiees. Agent's one I could see. An agent sometimes is going to have to go undercover and are willing to take on different personas to meet the needs of the mission. So to have an agent hug a Wookiee doesn't seem out of character. And I suppose I'm trying to think which of my Sith are actually light side. I do have some light side Sith, so I guess they wouldn't mind hugging a Wookiee either. Bellatrix and Dominatus are both Dark 5 though. Not the person I would think would hug a Wookiee. But Zox here, he seems like a guy that'd hug a Wookiee. Aren't the Chiss known for their Wookiee hugs? That was a joke. The answer would be no. The Chiss, obviously made famous by everybody's favorite Grand Admiral Thrawn. Don't know if there's a Legends or canon earlier version of the Chiss before Thrawn or not. For me, that feels like the first time they were used, but it might not be true. 9 and 10. $9.51. Getting close. I hate it when I get it once and then move. Who's next? We should be on to Bounty Hunters. I think Decon Extra Life might be next. There he is. All right, we got 3 more. So 12, 24, 36. And then I think we'll do Zach's again. If not, I've got another character. It's not part of my main rotation. If for some reason that able to hug twice in a day is a fluke, I've got a 25th character that we can pull into the hugging madness. But I think Zach's should be off of cooldown, because we should be over an hour by the time we get to him. Oh, I was in it and then moved. There we go. Which does mean if you want to do this constantly straight through for 5-ish straight hours, 5 to 6 probably, you're going to probably need at least 24 characters, because that's what we're going to go through. And 24 should get us just over an hour. We're almost at 55 minutes. Got hit with a snowball. So the NPCs will also throw snowballs at you. Not just the droids, too. I think the Wookies will. Even the little thing is being a little bit slow to pop up now. Hugged his head. $9.64 at the end of this run. Alright, we have 2 bounty hunters left, and then we're going to have to cycle back around. It's going to put us, yeah, pretty close to an hour. 20% of that time is probably just logging out and logging in. Like if there were some place you could go where there were just 1,500 Wookiees lined up, the actual hug time would be a lot less. I've seen versions of the name Elsa a few times, so I wonder if this is somebody doing the same thing I'm doing. They're going through different characters and just hugging Wookiees. Grinding the achievement. There's a certain player mentality, a certain player's psyche to chase achievements. especially ones like this. Now, sometimes achievements are designed to be things that just naturally happen. You know, so for instance, there's like PvP achievements to get so many total kills during PvP, right? You're obviously not just going to do that in a day. You know, those are meant to kind of track your progress over time. I think there's one for like 50,000, something like that. I think I'm like halfway through that one. I rarely PvP these days. So, but again, you know, even at 10 kills a match, you know, 50,000 means 5,000 matches. It's going to happen over time if you PvP. I'm going to say, let's say every day. Let's say you're an everyday player, right? If you PvP every day, you're probably going to get somewhere between, we'll say 20 and 50 a day, depending on how much you actually play. Because the math will be easy. Let's say you did it 50 a day. 50 kills a day. So it'd be 50,000. That would take it down to 5,000. That'd take it down to 1,000 days. If you PvP'd every day, you get that in 3 years. You know, again, it's a long time, but given this is the game's 13th anniversary, I know avid PvP players that have, like, there's a Valor rating that goes up to 100. They've got that on multiple characters, right? I got it on 1. And once I had it on 1, I kind of slowed down in my PvP. Alright, 58. Yeah, we're going to be, I'm going to say a minute or an hour and 8 minutes. So if we round up to an hour and 10 minutes, 5 hours and 50 minutes, so just under 6 hours. If you just went straight through and just kept doing this. We had it, then it went away. Oh, right. I'm getting a little excited. This actually went quicker than I thought. I thought it was going to be about an hour and a half. I knew it would be under 2 hours. Because we did 2 hours with the same set of characters. But in that set, we logged into our Nar Shaddaa stronghold. Then we traveled to the planet. Then we quick traveled or speeder traveled over here, ran up the ramp, then did the hugging, and then we quick traveled back to Nar Shaddaa to log off. So we added a whole lot more to the process. Right? The actual hugging process has taken about the same amount of time, but the overall things we were doing per character definitely went up quite a bit. And in that, I think we did it right at 2 hours doing all of that. So like if you wouldn't want to leave your characters, like I literally just logged these characters all off on Mechshaw. Not the most usable place, you know, or if you're playing the characters and moving them around, you're looking at 2 hours. And we only did 288 in that run. But I think we were just short of 2 hours. Because that's what we're at right now. We're at 988. Alright, so we did, yeah, right at an hour, actually. So we cut the time in half. I think we were right at 2 hours at this point. Okay, now if everything goes well here, Zaximus should have Wookiees again. Because we're an hour in. Let's see. If not, we might pause the timer. Because we want that to be accurate to the hugging process, not the waiting for them to spawn process. But assuming he can get a hug here, so we're going to go the other way. Yep, see, so that's available again. We've already hugged this Wookiee today. Now you'll notice there's no mission, right? The mission we've already done, so we're not going to get credit for that. But we're going to hug our way back across the other direction. So it'll be just in reverse of what we've already done. So that's confirmed. Right at an hour. Actually, a little bit short, honestly. Because we started the timer on the first Wookiee. So it would have taken us 3-ish minutes, 3 to 4 minutes to get to that last Wookiee. $9.94, $9.95. $9.97, $9.98. 2 Wookiees left. $9.99. 1,000. All right, we're going to call it 1 hour, 2 minutes, 36 seconds for 300 Wookiees. So, again, your timing might vary a little bit, but let's see, that would be 62, we're going to round up to 63 minutes divided by 300 Wookiees. That is 0.21, so 1/5 of a minute. Let's see, let's do this a different way. 63 minutes times 60 seconds is 3,780 seconds divided by 300. 12.6 seconds a Wookiee. So 4 of that seconds. Actually, so that 12, let's go just to 12. That means 1/3 of the time we spent hugging Wookiees. 4. And 2/3 of the time we spent doing other things. Running between Wookiees, logging in, logging out, and stuff like that. So, 33% Wookiee hugging time. Again, 63 minutes times 5 that you'd need to do this is 315 minutes, which is 5.25 hours. So 5.5 hours. You could get through the 1,500. So doable in a day, relatively easily if you're willing to grind it out. And that is if you are focusing. Again, when I do things like this, I often will be watching YouTube or something like that. So it definitely slows you down. You're just not being as quick or as efficient. But there you go. 300 Wookiees hugged. I appreciate everybody who has hung out with me, watched any of our streams. We're going to go ahead and call it for this one. We'll be back this afternoon to actually stream back into Stardew. So if you've been following our Stardew progress, we will do our Stardew stream this afternoon at 3 o'clock local time. That would be 2 o'clock Pacific. But with that being said, thank you guys all for the support. Go watch, play, or create something great. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you later.